strategies. I strongly believe every one of you all know aware of the strategies. But whether we practice it, whether we don't practice it is a big question mark. So today I just wanted to introduce some of it, like how we use, in our trainings, in our training, what do you call it, projects or programs. We use certain strategy in order to empower the learning, because we always believe that just listening session is not enough. We need to do some more justice to it. We need to add some more. We need to implement much more to it. Since Magic Bus India Foundation collaborated with Reliance Foundation, we mostly focus on placements, training and placements. Magic Bus is registered as an NGO. It is a international NGO serving the nation for the past 25 years, started by Magic Spaces from UK in the year 1999. We have a small startup story, and we just wanted to share with you, and then just wanted to create awareness on how we started this. 25 years ago, when Magic Spaces visited India, that's Mumbai, he's a national rugby player, a former national rugby player. He used to practice his game in a club. And then when he was practicing his sports, there were a lot of curious onlookers. Those are children from the slum looking through the fence on how he played. And then he came up with an idea of implementing sports. So he started something called Sports for Development. So he started inviting people to join in the game. And then slowly that became a regular practice. So Magic Bus India Foundation started with children in the year 1999. Today, we are spread across 23 states, 80 different districts. Bangalore alone, we have 10 to 15 centers. Alright, so we are an NGO registered organization. So what we do is we get connected with colleges, institutions, and of course government schools. We do skilling program, and absolutely with no price tag. So we do it free of cost because of CSR funding. We are collaborating with many organizations. Many companies are they stand in support with us. And 3 years ago, we have Reliance coming forward and doing collaboration with the Magic Bus India Foundation. Reliance also works with the same motivation, right? Reliance family, they have major businesses across India. They also wanted to do something, something for the society. And here we have Magic Spaces, the founder of Magic Bus. And we have Mr. Mukesh Ambani, Reliance founder. You all know. Okay. So now this two organizations collaborated in order to bring drastic changes in the lives of the students. Yeah, because they are the future of our country. So we need to empower them, enrich them with the present, according to the present job market standards. I always connect my speech to the present jobs. Because I'm from an IT background, I know how important it is for a student to choose the right career. You understand? During COVID-19, when most of the companies which required manpower in their place, when they said, when they stopped employees coming to the facility, or when they had to put them on bench, or some of the employees, thousands of employees were asked to leave the job, IT organization, they gave the laptop and they said, you please work from home. You understand? Right? So, I always give importance to IT organization because all the banks, all the businesses are connected with IT. So, whenever I train students, I train them with IT mindset. I train them with ITS mindset. I tell them we speak about skills that is required for the present generation. Now there is a big disconnect between the academics and the corporates. Do you agree with me? As teachers, do you agree with me? There is a big disconnect. You understand why? Because when we do a campus drive, okay, Magic Plus India Foundation along with Reliance, when we do job drives, campus drives, when we do the trainings, we see a lot of disconnect between the college and the corporate. Now, when the HRs, when they come to the venue, they are very surprised because they expect students to reach up according to their level of understanding, according to their skill and standards, but our students are not meeting those requirements. You understand? Are you listening? Right? Every company they have training. They have process training inside. They have pre-process training inside. They have project training. They have the buddy training. They have so many training. According to the individuals, they cater those trainings when people join their organization. But what happens is when our children, when our students are not equipped with the right kind of intelligence, it is a cost to the organization. It takes a lot of time, many days, months, even years, for them to put them into the life projects, right? And then one day I was talking to a person who heads a very big organization. He works there as an HR director. I asked him, what is the problem or what is the challenge that you find with our students? He said, there are two things. One is skill and the other one is will. Right? One is what? Skill. The other one is will. He said, if it's a skill problem, we will rectify it. Don't worry. Right? We have trainers inside. We can train them according to the company requirements. We can, make it work. But when it is an issue with the attitude, when there is no willingness to learn, and that is where we have a problem. And that is why we don't want to hire freshers. We see all this advertisement which says we want people from 0 to 1 year, 0 to 2 years, big lies. They don't recruit freshers. You understand? They don't recruit freshers. For the government, they have to show that they have to state good books for the government. They show, we also hire freshers, which is really not true, right? The hiring of freshers, if you check the percentage, is very less. So that is the reason during COVID-19 we started a program called CWW, that's called Connect with Work. Although we were working with children, we were working with youth who are unemployed, but during this COVID time, we saw a lot of people suffering without job, and then that is when we came up with this program called CWW, Connect with Work, in order to connect young graduates to the corporates. From that day till now, we have signed MOUs with 400 plus colleges, and we are doing a successful training. So, just wanted to give you as an information what are the skills that are required in the present job market standard, and how you can strategize your teaching. Right? I know you are all well equipped, you are educated, right? And you hold a lot of degrees, probably more than me. You have, you had a lot of achievement. You have a lot of achievements in your life, right? But there's some thing that might be missing. What you can do is you can see here, and then you can get some information from this session. Okay. The changing landscape, 21st century classroom requires innovative approach. One of the speakers, Mr. Rabai, when he was speaking, he was mentioning that the capacity of a listener is only 45 minutes. Is only how many minutes? 45 minutes. And what is the timing of our college? It starts from 8 o'clock. Some places 9 o'clock, and it goes all the way till 3, right? But the learning capacity is only for 45 minutes, which means we need to adopt different different teaching methodologies in order to make them effective learners, right? So that is what we want to bring to your notice. Okay, we have a small learning and development flow, since we also have students that are diluted on the subject what I'm going to speak. I thought only the teachers will be sitting here, but we also have the students for the betterment. I'm just going to dilute certain things which I wanted to say. The first one is called the active learning. This active learning involves lot of discussion, right? So, for example, the session is divided, like let's say a 40-minute session is divided into different parts. The actual lecture would be around 10 to 15 minutes. The rest, 20-25 minutes would be the discussion with the student, where the teacher will connect with the student and discuss about what is taught in the class. Now, that is what we call it as active learning process. That is where a lot of discussion happens. Now, we chuck people into groups, small groups, and we ask them to discuss and come up with solutions. We ask them to use different approaches. Now, it can be done in the classroom. I say yes, it can be done in the classroom. Whenever we go for training, we have 150 students, 200 students in the auditorium or the seminar hall, and how are we going to implementing our training program? Because see, I also have other thought in my mind that it is not to burden the teachers. It is not burden the teachers. You understand? Right? It has to be less it should be like a smart work where you are not burdened. At the same time, they also get the effect of learning. The students also get the effect of learning. Okay. So here, under active learning, we chuck people in small groups, or we use a discussion approach where we just implement the training for implement the class teaching for like 10-15 minutes. The rest of it would be like a discussion, right? You are going to create the personal connect. That's how Adam was telling today. What is missing is emotional quotient. Now, even some of the teachers, they act like AI tools. You understand, right? So, using this emotional connect, that is where we call it as active learning. Next is the experiential learning. We apply knowledge through real experience. That is where we give them real time situation. Real-time, real-time examples. It can be from your life, or it can be you can use some of the role models, or you can talk about something that where people also get that experiential learning through real-time experiences. What we do is we give them a lot of case studies. We use a lot of case studies. We use a lot of tools. You understand? In order to give them that experiences, what they do is they learn from real-time experience. We will go deeper into it later. The next one is independent learning, where develop self-directed learning habit. This independent learning is very important. Why it is important? Let's say before you deploy a topic, all you have to do is introduce that topic the previous day. You need to tell them, see, tomorrow's topic is this, and do some independent learning. Come up with some points. Come up with your thoughts. So the next day, when you start the topic, it doesn't sound alien to them. It doesn't sound new to them. They are also interested now in order to voice out what they have done the previous day. That is what we have a 10-day curriculum in our training session. What we do is, at the end of each day, we introduce the topic of the next day. And we tell them, you don't have to sit and do any assignments. No, all you have to do is use different portals and try to gather some information, whether right or wrong. The session is not to decide who's right and who's wrong, but gather some information and come to the session prepared, so that the next day, when we are speaking, we are going to make use of your points. So what we do is, the next day when we come in the training room, we just pass on the mic, and then people who have researched according to their knowledge, they voice out their points. Now we are giving an opportunity for them to speak out. Right? Maybe in classrooms you might not have a mic, but at least you can give them chances to speak out. You can ask them, what was the learning that you guys have done yesterday? What is your research that you got? What is the tools that you use? What is the information that you gathered? So that is what we are doing in the independent communication and emotional quotient. Now, this communication is very, very important. All of my training session, I emphasize on communication, not on software development, not on technicalities. You understand? The reason why communication, I'll tell you why. For a company, when they look at a candidate or a student, they can't wait for 3 months, 6 months for the student to perform a task and then to evaluate. Right? They all have that 45 minutes of interview time in order to show them an intelligent candidate. How are you proving a company that you are highly intelligent is from your words? Do we agree with me? Do we agree? Yes? During the discussion, how are you proving that you are intelligent? It is through your communication. So many of us, we forgot this importance of communication. You ask people, what is the most important skill that is required for the job or your career? They say it's the communication. But are you giving importance for the communication? They say no. Right? Till now, I have been to many colleges and university. I find people lacking in their communication. This is a very sad thing. Right? We have 3 teachers, we have educated professors, we have double degree holders as teachers, but then our candidates, they lack in communication. So what I feel is implementing communication, not the communication that is in the textbook. I'm not talking about the English subject, but the oral communication that is more important in order to project themselves, in order to do a presentation. How it is, if you can give a small topic, you know what, tomorrow you're going to present it. Right? And then when they come, you stand before the audience and then they start presenting it. And do this practice now and then. By the time they complete that year, they will be effective presenters. That is what we have to create. We need to create leaders because we ourselves, we are all leaders, right? And we leaders, they don't just create forward, they create another leader. So our candidate should be a leader. So in order to possess that quality, communication plays a major role. And even the companies require that. Companies want people who effectively communicate. Because I tell you, most of the businesses or corporates such as IT industries, we get projects from other countries, from America, from Canada, from Australia, and some of the European countries. And most of our clients interact with us in English. Right? And the presentations are in English. And then when the candidate is required to, even our interviews, even in the interview, now the interviews, the model is changing. Previously, we had first round, second round, and third round, where they had to meet different people in different cabins. Now, all of these people in one room called interview panel. As soon as the candidates they step inside, they say, okay, why don't you display your soft copy and then give us a presentation of your profile. Right? And then that is when the communication skill is needed along with the emotional awareness. What is this emotional awareness? Knowing about themselves, their limitation, their capabilities, emotions and feelings, and how to handle them. Knowing is one skill, and how to handle them is another skill. Right? Most of our students, they lack emotional quotient. They know about certain feelings, but they don't know how to control it, or they don't know how to work with their feelings. So we need to teach them. We need to include this subject called as emotional quotient. I think in every class, irrespective of any subject, this can be taught. Emotional quotient can be taught. Right? It can be taught in different forms. It can be taught in different activities. Most of our session is activity based. We do a lot of activities. We are, it looks like we are playing a game, but we are learning something. It looks like we are doing some, we are having fun, but we are learning a lot of things. I strongly believe in learning with a lot of humor. So please add humor to whatever you are doing. include some live examples, include some scenarios. You can tell about your experiences and that the challenges that you are facing. Make it more lively, and that will bring them that emotional awareness, and all these will lead to the success of the student. Now, when I say the other the skill, whatever skill it is only protected through communication. We all have to understand that. We all have to understand that. So what we do is give them opportunity to come forward and present a topic, to come forward and present their thoughts, to come forward and present their views. To work with teams, to work with groups. Active learning involves a lot of small group discussion. When they are involved, we see when we take classes, we see students are speaking to each other. Right? And simple thing what we do in our training, right? We ask them to call up the number and we chunk them in groups. So even the places where they sit, it's changed. Right? So each day or maybe once in 3 days, we keep shifting their places. So they don't get an opportunity to sit with people who are very much known to them. Right? So that is what we have shown here. This is just a learning what we call development flow before showing you the curriculum framework. Activity-based teaching methods, like engaging students through interactive learning. Now, these are the 3 important things that we are using in our learnings, right? In our teachings. What are these 3 things? If you look at this, learning methodologies. There's something called as learning methodologies. In that, there are 10 different learning methodologies, right? Which means a student can learn in 10 different ways. Not everybody can learn through lecture-based. Not everybody can learn through writing. So there are different learning theories or different learning methodologies. Now these different learning theories and methodologies are very important in order to design your teaching. So what I would suggest strongly is when you look at the different learning theories and methodologies, these are very important. As people who have done PhD, you might have come across this words, learning methodologies, learning theories. These are very important in order to create a framework. Now, irrespective of your subject, using that, you can create a teaching framework where you can implement that kind of teaching in your classes. Let's say role play. What this role play does? Okay, they really enact a situation. They really, for example, let's say you're teaching math to your students. Now, you can shift the role. You can be the student, they can be the teacher. So you can shift the role, and that will become an effective learning, real practices, real scenarios, and you can role play can be an enactment. It can be just an exchange of personalities, and then presented in a way that they understand what is being taught to them. Now, we also have case studies. What is this case study? Case studies are, we take different cases in form of different scenarios, and which has emotional quotient, which has soft skill integrated in it, which has emotional intelligence in it, and then we design a case study. We present it to them with different options. What they do is they study this case and they come up with their own their own solutions using problem solving techniques, using creative thinking techniques. They come up with their own solution. And if you look at it, the solution given by the candidates would be different from each other. Right? That will enhance their creativity. That will enhance their thinking capability. That is why we use case studies. And we also use simulations. Most of the time what I do, we implement mock interview simulations. We implement that. Even the setup in the college, what we do in some of the colleges we do a small setup, right? Using some logic, we use a small setup that looks like an office space where we create that mock drill, that mock interview practice. We really call some experts. in order to take that mock interview. The students feel that this is a real practice. This is a real interview. That is the kind of environment we create using stimulations, right? You can you can do it through presentation. You can do it through discussion. You can do it in many ways. Use stimulation. Three important things. The activities that you can use. One is role play, case studies, and stimulations. Next is using AI platform and online tools. And we also have Javed Israel he's a technical trainer. Even give you more insight maybe in the next session and give you more insight on this. But then, how do we use AI tools? There are a lot of AI tools nowadays that is available. Most of the institutions, most of the teachers, they look at AI tools as as destructive powers. They think it is a destructive power. Who created this AI? We created this AI. We are mastering it. Right? We can use it any way that we want it. Right? All that we have to do is learn how this AI tool works. That's all. And we can use it for our work. Right? So we use a lot of AI tools. Even in our teachings, we use a lot of AI tools in order to teach the candidates how they can use AI tools in their respective areas. Okay. For example, let's say if I ask somebody to create a resume, using a Word document, creating a very traditional resume takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of efforts. So we suggest some tools, and they log into the tool, they create a resume. And although it is created by AI, we make sure we give them some strategies where it doesn't look like that is an AI generated resume. What we do, we ask them to change the sentence and vocabulary. We say, okay, please use other AI tools called humanize.ai, where you can even change your sentences and the words. Doesn't look like AI because AI works on certain algorithm, and companies are very well with this algorithm. They easily find out that it is an AI created resume, and we teach the students how they can use different AI to make sure that the resume is not detected as it is AI created. So that is what we teach. And also we use a lot of interactive platform. Recently when Divesh was handling session, we created a chatbot, and that can interact with the student. You can give an input for that it will reply. So we taught the students how to create a chatbot. Right? You can ask questions and it will interact with you as if you are speaking to somebody. Right? That is one of the platforms that we use. And we use online assessment. There are different websites which can cater this online assessment. Very simple one is Google Forms. Very simple one is what? Google Forms. All you have to do is put the questions. Once you do the classes or before doing the classes, you can just put the questions in the Google form. Share the link to the student. And then it is very simple, easy, and you don't even have to manually grade them because Google form has an option to even grade them. That will give you the scores. You can even include graphical representation to it. It makes jobs very easy. And you can easily analyze the learnings of the student by using this this online assessment platforms. Like I'm just giving you some of the basic information, not in that. Some of the AI tools that we include, like Canva. You all know about Canva. You might have done maybe in your programs, college programs, or maybe for your personal use. You might have used Canva. It is the most friendliest application where you can choose your design, where you can create anything, any kind of posters, right? Even the resumes are done using Canva, right? So the profiles are created in Canva. There's a lot of things that you can use in Canva. So even while teaching, you can use Canva and then create something and present it. It is not adding burden. Again, I'm telling you, it is not that it is an added burden to you. By then, you can include this and make your teaching more effective. You can ask the student, okay, tomorrow this is the topic that we are presenting. Why don't you create a small presentation using Canva? Right? And then they do it. That is more interesting for them rather than traditional writing. They just use Canva, and then we have the Kandigo, and then Gemini works very similar with similar like ChatGPT, and this one we have it is used for programming languages. It can give a tailor-made answers, more accurate than ChatGPT. These are some of the tools that you can use in order to improve your teaching. Maybe by creating an assessment, or maybe asking the student to find some information using this tool, or ask the students to create a small slideshow presentation posters before you implement the classes, or after implementing the classes. I can't narrow it down because the subject differs. You might teach different topics and subjects. So according to that, you see how you can make use of this tool, and you also learn these tools because these are very user friendly. And then when the students are talking about it, it shouldn't sound alien to us. We also have to be familiar with this tool because we need to love technology, right? And then we see the previous generations, they didn't like technology, right? They're very far away from technology. Now the AI is taking over, and people are scared that they might lose the job, scared that things are going to be different. But how it is when we use the same tool for our for our jobs and career, it makes us more effective. Just want to give that information. And then real world learning, bridging academics and industry for the student. This is very important, right? Whenever we are teaching, we always have to implement something called as employability skills. The skills that is needed for the industry, right? Because the training that we do, like 7 days, 10 days training, we cannot create that kind of impact because in this 10 days, in this 7 days, students cannot learn much. We can create an awareness, we can give them some practice, and we can ask them, please stay in regular touch so that we will teach you more. We can give you more opportunities. That can be done. But the complete skilling will not be able to we cannot do the complete skilling in the 7 or 10 days, right? So this has to be implemented right from the first year. Recently, I was talking to one of the chairmen of a private institution. He said, we want the training for the first year. Sir, I said, no, we are asked to do it only for the final year. He said, sir, if I implement this in the final year, and yes, students can learn it, but they don't have time to practice it. But if I implement it in first year, by the time they are in the final year, they are already potential employees of employers. That is what he told. Right? How true it is. So when we include our employability skills in our curriculums, right? There are so many employability skills, right? And these employability skills are further classified. These are the skills that is required for the industry. We align it with the industry curriculum. Right? Most of our students from software background, they are not able to even write the program in their interviews. In one of the interviews, I'm looking at the student, the HR is asking, okay, why don't you take this sheet and then write the program for this is the situation. The student is not able to write the program, right? So there is a big disconnect. So what we have to do? Take the JD from them, take the job description from them. And recently for one of the colleges, what I did, I spoke to one of the organization. I took their aptitude question papers. I took their job descriptions for different positions, and then I sent it to them. I said, please train the students on this, right? If you want to have an effective result on the interview, please train the students on this. And they started training them. And when we were in Gulbarga district, when our team was in Gulbarga district, what we did is we trained the students on the curriculum of a company. So according to the designation, according to their education background, we started training them. For 1 week, no other training. We only trained them on the curriculums again and again, company curriculums, the roles and responsibilities in the job, and what they 50 students got selected in one institution, 50 students, and the HRs, came out. They asked, they said, we see that somebody has trained them, right? They know exactly what is the work that we do inside the organization, right? This is what we need. Although we are teaching different subjects, we really have to include employability skills, industry curriculum. Internship we are already doing that, but still we have a problem with internship nowadays, right? Internship is done for the sake of doing it, for the sake of documentation, right? Some of the students, they come and tell us, so we don't have time for internship. It is only 1 month we have for internship. And the companies are not ready to give internship for 1 month. Right? The minimum duration for an internship is 3 months. It is 3 months. 3 months is the minimum time that they require in order to learn about the process of the company. But what happens is, we don't have time. We give them 1 month of time, and they go and they collect some certificates from somewhere, or they pay money and get it, or they join some companies for the sake of internship, and that might not be a specialization. They go to some telecalling organization, some marketing company, and then they take internship from there, and then submit it just for report and then getting marks. No, this has to be streamlined. Internship should be given according to their specialization, according to their requirement. So just wanted to bring you the notice on that internship, because we are missing out on that. And then continuous assessment. This continuous assessment should be implemented across the colleges, because I know internals and examinations are there, but this continuous assessment, we are talking about creating quiz. It is very easy. Using ChatGPT, we can create quizzes. Using ChatGPT, we can create some MCQ type of assessment. Right? What we do is, we are helping colleges in order to do assessment every week. And this assessment is not pen and paper. This assessment is just, they have to log into their email and then click on the link, and then the link will open a list of questions. They need to select the right options, and some of it will have one-word answers, some of it will have some multiple choice questions where they can select 2 or more answers. Very interesting, and they can do it in like 10-15 minutes. We don't require much time for it, and they are equipped with this continuous assessment. Every week we give continuous assessment. Every week, and you don't need internals. Even if you give internals, they excel in that. That's true, and that you can use it from us. And then you can automate this. You can even automate this, and you can even get an entire reporting sheet through this, and even you can document it for your professional use. Right? Just that you have to know what kind of tool you have to use. Skill-based evaluations. Now, this skill-based evaluation, it is real time. Now, I would request all the faculties to do this skill-based evaluations. Especially on their communication skill, especially on their problem-solving skill, especially on their creative thinking. Right? According to your subjects, we can create scenarios, we can create questionnaires, we can create enactment, where we can present it in front of them according to your subjects. Now, this will give them skill-based evaluation, where you can grade them. You can select some of your students. You can make them sit as a judge, and then give them some scoring parameters. Like for example, let's say somebody is giving presentation. Right? You can ask some of the students, grade his presentation based on these things, based on body language, based on the dressing, based on grooming, based on your understand. So you can cater it. You can do it according to your subject. Not only it can be done through done for employability classes, but it can also be implemented for the subject classes. And then this portfolio assessment, showcasing growth through collective work, encourage students to reflect on their learning journey, allowing them to present their development. This is done on their own. They collect information. They gather information on their own. That is what we call it as growth through collective work. And then they display it. That is what we call it as portfolio. They display it as a project. They display it as a mini project. They display it as a document. They collect their own they do their own research and development, and that is when we call it as portfolio assessment. Now, these are some of the things that we include in our training. See, this is a framework that we did. In this framework, we have created three different sectors, three different verticals, right? Okay, connect with work. This is the framework that we use. We have divided into three. One is personal readiness. We call it as personal readiness, three different verticals. Under personal readiness, what we have done is we have created some of the topics like self-awareness, growth mindset, verbal reasoning, logical reasoning, analytical reasoning, language proficiency, self-confidence. So anything that required in their personal life, it is under personal readiness. So our topics, this is not our this is just a framework of what we use. But then we have a larger curriculum framework behind this that is done using Excel. It has number of what we call topics, and the other one is called professional readiness. Under professional readiness, we have communication, we have interpersonal skills, we have time management, problem solving, personal finance, sector overview, and then we have the other vertical as future readiness. In this we teach resume building and preparing for interviews, email ethics, telephone ethics, and we have this workplace protocol, and then what rights they can practice at the workplace. All these things we made it as a framework. You can also do a framework. I largely encourage teachers to do a framework. Framework and mind mapping is very important, right? This will give you a flow. If you can create a framework that is really effective according to your subjects that you are teaching. There, we have people who are teaching economics. We have people who are teaching political science. We have people who are teaching math. We have people who are teaching languages. Let it be any subject. Create a framework. Create a framework accordingly. Use ChatGPT. Use Gemini. And then create a framework, and the framework will give you the structured teaching, and give a command that align this framework according to teaching methodologies and learning theories. It will create a framework. Use that framework for your teaching. If you use a framework for your teaching will be structured, and people will see the effect of your teaching. It will not be a boring classroom again. It will be a mix of activities and learning. And make sure every class you implement some kind of activities, and it shouldn't be a boring session. In our training room, we never allow even one student to be bored. Right? We never allow them to sleep. We never allow them to mind their own business. No. We want everybody to be engaged. We want them to change places. We want them to come forward and present. We want them to do some enactment. We want them to do some presentations. We want them to do some mock practices. Right? Be it any subject, and try to implement this strategy, and this will help you a lot. I just wanted to end with this for now. Maybe in the next session we will give you in depth of a few other things. These are some of the things that we use in order to do our training. So what you can do is you can use the same thing, pick some of it, what is being presented, design according to your requirement, according to your classroom. That will be of a great help. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Don't have much time, so in a very short time I have to present this, and then I have to dilute this because of the recommend of some of the students. And let's see in the next class. We will. I want Jared also to speak in the next session, giving the importance of how you can integrate AI for your teaching. AI is a very good tool. It is a very good friend to you. Right? And all you have to know is how to use them So next session, maybe Davis will give you some insight. And also, we are planning some activities, and let's see how it goes. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you.
So thank you, sir. If there are any questions from the participants, kindly, one or two, and what are the components of any good teacher? How he has to plan his teaching to attract the students, to understand the subject he is teaching, including the communication skills, EQ, emotional quotient, and then active learning methodologies and independent learning techniques. Along with this, he has also covered on activity-based teaching methods, then engaging the students through interactive teaching, and assigning the students for the case studies, and then making a simulation of real-time problems. So, enhancing a learning of his students through the digital tools. Very importantly, the online tools to improve the teaching. So on this, I have some questions. So whether these online tools are useful for a teacher when he is teaching for a new subject without reading any reference book or a textbook, whether his teaching will be effective by just using the online tool.
I would strongly suggest not to give up on your textbooks, because something that has come from tradition, we still make use of it. So while textbook is handy, we can also enhance our skills. See, I'll tell you one thing. Okay, there is something called as reading beyond the lines. Something called as reading beyond the lines. For example, let's say if I read a poem, okay, I read a poem, and when I read it for the first time, I get some understanding. When I read it for the second time, I get even more better understanding. When I read it for the third time, that is when I get the revelation, the secret behind what I read, right? So I'll just give you one example. One of my friends is a poet, and he has written this sentence: "Know the sun burning in me, not the cooling moon in me." He said, if you decode this, I will know you are a better dreamer. Right? And this poem says these two lines: know the sun burning in me. He said the situation. This situation is between the two people. This situation between a guy and the girl. And then this poet says, know the sun burning in me, not the cooling moon in you. And then when I was reading it again and again and again and again, and then I said, okay, no, you know what? It reveals the anxiety of a guy, and then it reveals the carefree attitude of the girl. That is what I translated it. So what I strongly suggest is, of course, textbook gives us a lot of inputs. Again, use AI tools in order to get the secret behind it, the key ingredient behind it. So how can it help the teachers? Can teachers use AI? Definitely, there are a lot of AI tools that is specially designed for the teachers. And what you can do is make use of it and then start taking some activities. For example, according to your subject, you can do some activities. Ask the AI, this is the topic tomorrow. This is the subject tomorrow. Please give some useful activities. It will give you some activities which you did not know before. Maybe you can adopt it in the classroom. And of course, I told you, creating an assessment, don't use pen and paper. Use a simple online assessment where you can easily create a report out of it. That can be very handy. Even you can use all your reports, you can use AI tools. Why not? You can definitely use it rather than keeping it, paper and pen. Yeah.
Thank you.
I may not use the same curriculum the next year because I need to upgrade it. Now, are we again printing that many textbooks? Not possible. So, it is all under the, all under our common sense boundaries. What include, what not to include. But definitely, I would strongly recommend that company-related curriculum should be, introduced in our studies. And, maybe 30 hours in a year, I think that would do a great difference. Each academic year, 30 hours, only on the company standards, only on skilling. Among all this, I'll tell you one thing. I tell everybody the same thing. Among all this, Okay, the importance goes to communication skill. The importance, believe me, people struggle without it. And I've seen engineers doing delivery jobs. Yeah, and I've seen people who have, completed their MBA not able to get the right job. It's not because of the knowledge. They have good knowledge, but they don't know how to protect the knowledge. It can be done only through communication. So I strongly suggest all of you here, focus on communication and let them speak after they have 5 years of experience after they complete their, graduation. So that is my comment. Thank you. Thank you, teachers.
Thank you very much, JD sir. Thank you for your time.